So we're in the middle of a big launch for one of our clients, and right now we are aggressively scaling our ad campaigns. And I was in the ad account and I was showing one of my friends the ad account the other day and just showing how much we were spending, and he was fucking shocked that I had over 30 CBO scaling campaigns. Now, I've had this before when I've shared my ad account screenshots on Twitter where people are like, oh my God, there's too many campaigns. But here's the thing. If you actually understood how the Facebook ad machine works, you will understand that there can't be too many campaigns. Now, if you fall into that group of media buyers who just try and use one or two campaigns across the entire account, and you use big budgets and you use broad targeting and you say it's all about the creative, then you're probably not going to like this video, because the way I scale my ads, even though it works, it's probably going to piss you off a little bit. But this way has literally been bulletproof, and it's the way I've scaled every single one of my clients' accounts over the last few years. So let's get into it then. So there's 4 main ways that I like to scale my CBOs. Now, before I get into it and do the big reveal on screen, as you can see, I've blocked out some of the words to, yes, retain your attention and pique a little bit of curiosity. But it goes without saying, for any of this stuff to, number 1, make sense to you, or number 2, more importantly, work for you, you need to have a point where you're actually already scaling the ad account. Now, for me, what I like to do is I like to test with small budgets in an ABO campaigns. So testing at the ad set level with the budget. And then once I have a few different ad sets that are working very well, I will duplicate 2 to 3, possibly even 4 of them into one CBO campaign. And then I will run that CBO campaign at a larger budget. And I will do this on repeat, where I have multiple CBO campaigns that contains the winning ad sets. Now, if you want a more detailed explanation of how that testing process works, there's tons of videos already on the channel. I'm not going to go into that in this video. So this video is for you if you are at that point where you have some CBO campaigns that are working well, and now you're looking to scale them even further. Now, what I never do, and I wouldn't advise you to do, is I don't scale my CBO campaigns by just increasing the budget 20% every few days. I have found that across the board, like on average, if you do that, it messes up the campaigns. Yes, you'll have some that scale okay, but for me, when I look at it, when I've tried that in the past, overall, it's not as consistent or as predictable as I would like. And as a media buyer, as an advertiser, you want predictability inside of your ad account. And this is what this process does. The success rate and the hit rate of scaling CBOs using what I'm going to show you on screen in a second here is far greater than scaling by increasing the budget, from my experience. All right, so number 1 is if I have some CBO campaigns that are working well, what I will do is I will go into the breakdown inside of the ads manager and I will filter it on gender. Now, for some of you, your product might just be for one gender. It could be for male, could be for female. Now, don't come after me in this video for saying there's only 2 genders, because that is true. There are only 2. But if your product is just for one of the genders, then of course this probably isn't going to apply to you. If you're selling makeup for women, then you aren't going to probably test that on males unless you're doing like a different angle where you're like, hey, buy your partner some makeup. Anyway, we're not going to do that in this video. So yes, if your product is just for one gender, just skip this part. It's not going to work, right? However, what we found is that you can filter on the gender on the breakdown section, and it will tell you the performance of each gender. And what you will typically find, depending on the campaign, is that one gender's cost per lead or cost per purchase is a lot lower than the other. So let's just say, for example, we had one CBO and it was spending $100 a day. And we found that on the breakdown that the males was actually converting at a cheaper rate, or maybe that the budget was going more towards males, then what we would do is duplicate that CBO campaign and do male only. But what we found, and again, nothing is a 100% success rate. I'm not saying every single time you do this, it is going to work, but the percentage of the time this works versus the other scaling strategies, it is better. And what we found is that a lot of the time when you do this strategy, it will start converting the same as, if not better than the original CBO. And that is the basis of this strategy. It is looking at the campaigns that are currently working and looking at the audiences that are currently scaling and seeing how we can optimize it and scale it further without testing new audiences or without testing new ads. So next up, my go-to one is age. So very, very similar. I will then do a breakdown of the age of each of the CBOs. And again, most of the time, you will have a couple of age brackets that are converting at a cheaper rate. And sometimes it shocks you. Sometimes for some of our clients, I feel like most of our customers are a older demographic, but just for whatever reason, some of the ads / some of the interests and audiences that we're targeting, some of them, maybe like the 18 to 34 year olds, are just buying it. And therefore we will then duplicate that CBO campaign and we will target just that age range. And again, most of the time it works. Most of the times it will scale at the same rate, if not better than the original CBO. Next up is countries. So again, if you are targeting multiple countries in your testing campaigns, maybe you don't care if you get a customer from the US, Canada, UK, Australia. What we typically do when we are trying to ultra optimize and scale our CBOs is we'll still break down the scaling campaigns by country. And again, we will look at the countries that are getting the cheapest cost per conversion, cost per lead, and then we will duplicate that exact same CBO and do a different one targeting the different countries. So let's say, for example, you're targeting the top 4, which is US, Canada, UK, Australia. If you do the breakdown of the countries and you can see that Canada and UK are actually getting the cheapest cost per conversion, then you can take that $100 CBO, duplicate it and target UK only, duplicate it again and target Canada only. And you've gone from spending $100 a day with those ads to spending $300 a day. And obviously you can do this for every single CBO campaign that you're running. So you can see that if you are running your ads to multiple countries, one of the easiest ways to scale is to just break it down per country, and you can very easily double, triple, even quadruple your ad spend in a very short period of time. Now, before I move on to the last point, another way that is similar to these three that I used to do a lot, but now not so much, is placement. So I used to break it down per placement, and I used to see, oh, well, if this is working on Instagram story, I'll duplicate the CBO and put it on Instagram story. I haven't included it in the list today. The reason why is just honestly over the past probably like 6 to 12 months, maybe this year, it's just not been working that much. And I don't want to share something on this channel that right now isn't currently working for me. And I think over the last couple of months, we've had a few big launches where we are trying to quickly scale a lot of campaigns. And I'll be totally honest, the placement CBO optimization where we duplicate and choose a specific placement, it's just not been working. So didn't want to share it, but in the past that has been something that has worked well for us. Now the last one is your ads. Now I know I said before at the start of the video, you can scale without changing the ads. And for the most part, we do with CBOs. We do all of this. We don't change the targeting. We don't change the placements. We don't change the ads. It's just purely making small alterations at the ad set level for the new CBO. But one of the things we also do is make small tweaks to the ads. So when you're scaling like this, it's not really about, hey, let's come up with new dramatic ad angles. You still should be doing that, but you will put those ads inside of your testing campaigns. If we are trying to aggressively scale, this isn't really the time to start putting a load of budget behind an ad angle that isn't proven to work. So what we like to do is to make very small tweaks to the ads. So for example, if you have a CBO campaign that's working well, we could duplicate the CBO. And at the ad level, we could maybe make a change to the headline. It's simple and it works because you're not changing the entire ad. So the ad still has a very high chance to work, but you are changing it a little bit. So it's not directly competing with your previous CBO campaign, and it could attract a different segment of the market, but the overall ad is proven to work. You could also try changing the first line of the ad as well. That gets people to hook. So you don't change anything else. The image or the video is the same. the main body of the copy is the same, the headline is the same, but you just change that first line of the ad. Or if you have a product image, you could use a similar product image, but maybe you change the color, maybe you change the background, maybe you change the angle. And again, it's not a dramatic change in the ad itself, it's just a very small tweak that could help you scale. And we use this strategy as our main aggressive scaling strategy when we are doing all of the launches for our clients, when we are trying to double, triple, or even quadruple ad spend in just a couple of days. So thanks for watching the video. If you got value from the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.